Uh, we got interviews, different perspectives, interview, listen and learn what winners do, empirical wisdom.
But it's pretty interesting, like what you were telling me the other day, like how you got started. Cause like I mean, like you got like people in your family got business and stuff like that. Do you grow up with a mom and a dad in the household, or
no? It was really just my mom and my sister,
okay,
and it was really just us. And then my sister, she tried to act like my mom sometimes, cause
older sister?
yeah, older sister,
Okay.
yeah, older sister. And then we just grew up together and really no businesses and stuff. Honestly, like when I started my business, I was so busy. My dad, he couldn't find out. I mean, he had a food truck and stuff like that, but then he wanted to stop doing all that and find something he could really, start progressing on. So, he would just see all my accomplishments and stuff,
Yeah.
and he's like, "Dang, man!" Da, da, da. So he started his own tree business,
Oh,
or lawn/tree business, and then now he took off. He's been doing his own thing now. So now I have my business and he had his business. But when I started my business, I didn't know how to get an LLC. I didn't know how to do none of that. And so from his wife helping him do that, they actually taught me and showed me how to do it.
you started this when you were in school, or after? Let's say after school.
Yeah, I started after school. I didn't finish high school. I was
Okay.
actually the different route I was taking during high school. I was hanging out with the wrong crowd.
Yeah.
Always trying to be popular. Hang out with the coolest people and stuff. And one day they called me to the office and they told me my GPA.
It was so low.
Yeah, it was so low. Like you can either, drop out, or you can, it's gonna be hard because the semester was almost over. So like it's gonna be hard for you to pass. It's so late in the year, and so I chose to drop out, and then ever since then, I was working at Hungry Howie's, Dunkin' Donuts. I was working 3 jobs.
Like odd jobs and stuff like that.
Yeah, 3 jobs in one day. Trying to get myself right, and then my best friend, he actually got me into the landscaping business, and I worked there for about 4 years doing big companies and stuff. And
There's a friend from school, or
no, it's
from
like
outside?
my best friend from
Got you.
from when we were younger.
Okay.
Yeah, he's no longer here with us. Rest in peace.
Oh wow.
But he's the one who actually got me into the landscaping business, and then I went from different companies to different companies, and finally I worked at this landscape place called JAYBIRDS Lawn Care.
Okay.
And it was a guy. He had 2 trucks, lawn equipment, like 200 accounts. He was a small guy, but he was big at the same time. He had like almost all the West Chase. And one day I was just riding the truck. I never thought I would want my own lawn business or nothing like that. And one day we're riding in the truck, and we're just passing houses that are overgrown and stuff like that. And in my head, I'm like, man, I can do this by myself. I can go knock on those people's door, take care of their yard, whatever. And that's what I did. And he had a push mower that was sitting in the warehouse, and I asked him to buy it off of him. And he was like, yeah, you could buy it and stuff. But then once I told him my idea, like how I'm gonna start my business on the weekends,
He didn't like it.
yeah, he didn't like that. So, but he didn't tell me he liked it, but I could tell because then when I tried to actually purchase it or go over there and buy it, it was always an excuse or it's not working or something like that. So I'm like, all right, don't worry about it. So
That's I always say that people want to see you do well,
yeah,
just not better than them.
exactly.
So and when they see you have the will, or you're eager to do a little something, a little more for yourself,
yeah,
like they don't like that because they want you to depend on them,
exactly.
and that's what
He's
it is.
gonna lose a worker.
They need to feel needed.
Yeah, for
like
sure.
that you need them in order for you to be able to live life.
Prosper,
I guess,
exactly.
Yeah.
I just wasn't going for it, so I went and bought a push mower on Facebook Market from this one kid. He fixes like small engines and stuff. I bought it for like $70 or something. But I went and got it, and then after I got it, I had a 2007 Volkswagen GTI. Man, any kid my age, man, they would love that car.
Yeah.
So
how old were you then?
I was probably about 22.
22.
22.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm about to be 26 now. And went and bought it off of him. Found this other guy on Facebook Market with a truck. That's all I really needed was a truck and a push mower. And we did an even trade or whatever.
So you did an even trade on your baby,
Yeah.
and
And some raggedy behind truck, falling apart. Interior was falling apart. No AC, loud exhaust. The first 2 weeks, like the first month I was driving it, I was kind of mad at myself because I'm like, man, I don't feel right in this truck. Like, what the heck did I do? Just like, and then slowly by slowly, I made business cards, passed them out, and I was doing houses every now and then, and
now you doing all this stuff with like, is someone helping you with a little bit of money, or like just money that you saved up, or no money?
no money.
Wow.
I just did the even trade. I was working at the landscape place, so one day they see me in a Volkswagen, and the next day they see me pull up in this truck, and then the check that I used to get off that I was working for, I used that money to buy my push mower, and then actually my dad, he got this weed eater off of Wish or whatever it was called.
Mm-hmm.
It was like it was a no name brand weed eater. It was alright.
Yeah.
I thought it was the best thing because I was just starting. But now, since I'm where I'm at now, my weed eaters are the best, whatever. But
Yeah. Obviously, back then you just trying to get
I
your
was just trying to
hands
start
on whatever tool.
Exactly.
Like, yeah.
And so one day he gives me a blower, and it was the type that you plug into the wall.
Yeah.
Electric blower.
With a long cord.
Yeah. So man, I was mowing people's houses, and then when I was done, I had to find their electrical outlet, plug it in, and then it got to the point to where sometimes the cord wouldn't even reach like around the side of the house. So I had to buy 2 cords.
Oh yeah.
And hook them up and go around the backyard, stuff like that. And I still have that blower till now. It's in my garage, it's sitting there. But
there's a reminder, huh?
Yeah, I look at it and I'm like, wow, that's crazy.
You come a long way from that.
I can't. It's crazy how it happens, but
But that's cool, man. Because I think like I hold on to like what I think they're like wholesome type of sentimental value.
Yeah.
For like things that I've done, like whether it's like I don't know, can be different things. That I mean, maybe along the journey, someone gave me something, or when I was going through something, or me myself, I just happened to purchase something to help me achieve something higher, or
For
bigger.
sure.
And I kind of like hold on to those little things, because and they remind me of like, hey man, because sometimes it's good to kind of like look back at those things and be like, oh man, I've actually done a little something.
Because I'm not gonna lie, it's easy to forget sometimes,
Yeah.
Once you're going and going, like, you forget where you come from sometimes, and then those little things, they remind you, and it's like, wow, it blows your mind. But yeah, man, it was a long journey, but the advice I have for people is to stay dedicated, and no matter the hardest times you guys are going through, to just keep going, because there's been a few times where I wanted to quit, it felt tough, and I just wanted to give up and stuff, and then I'll look back and be like, man, I did all that for just to give up, and I just kept going. And
So what do you think? What do you think like other young men like yourself, right? Especially because obviously 26 now, but when you started, you were a lot younger.
yeah,
And what do you think is like that maybe the one thing or the two things or three things that maybe like slows them down, like it makes them hesitate or makes them quit or give up, right?
Honestly, just the effort, the hard work. I was every morning I was loading up my push mower, picking it up, putting it in my truck, stuff like that, and I have friends around me and stuff. It's just distractions is my biggest thing. Distractions. You see someone else with the business the same age as you, but they have a little bit more than what you have, and stuff like that. You just have to stay in your own lane and just be patient. Because I used to talk about one day being where I'm at, and it took like 3 years to be where I'm at now, but it got here, and the journey was just it's been a long journey.
So like once you started a business, you had that vision, or it was something that like you developed as you started doing it?
I developed as I started doing it. Yeah, I just went day by day, and then the more things. I was living with my best friend at the time, so when he woke up to go do his real job, I was waking up going to mow a house, just one house for the day or 2 houses for the day, and then I would come home and just hang out. But as far as that, like, things went sideways because I was staying with him in this little studio. It was just me and him, and I had my dog with me. And his landlord one day said that, you know, the dog, whatever,
Yeah.
he has to get out. So my friend sends me a text one morning, and he's like, hey, man, I'm sorry, but the landlord said the dog can't be here, whatever. So I'm like, I start freaking out because I'm like, man, I have nowhere to go. Like, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
And thank God, the girl I was messing with, well, she's my girlfriend now. We've been together 4 years. But the girl I was messing with, I told her about it, and she's like, so you can come live with me, you know, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, are you sure? Like, you know, I don't want to be a burden. Come live with me and my mom in Land Lakes. So the funny story is, so I moved out there, and I lived with them for about 2 months until my mom had a house built, and she was having one built in Land Lakes. But it's weird how it happened because she lives in this neighborhood, and then right across the street is another neighborhood, and that's where my mom was having her house built. So I lived with her for 2 months, and those 2 months, man, I was down and out. It was the worst, you know. Like, I didn't have no business coming through. You know, I just felt like a bum. It was the worst for me.
How come? But how come you didn't have no business coming through? Like,
because just everything that was going on, I you know, my stuff was in Tampa, and then I moved to Land Lakes, and it was just a lot of stuff going on. And
it's crazy how, like, when your mind is not in the right place,
yeah,
because you got a full plate, like
exactly.
how things get weird, you know,
Super
like
weird.
and because you're like okay, like I know I need to do this, but I have to take care of this and that.
I have to
Right?
focus.
Yeah, and so it's kind of like you got to learn how to refocus to, like, bring the energy back again.
Yep.
So for a little while, like you were just down,
I
like
was
no
down
business
and out,
coming in.
Nothing. She was taking care of me, you know, buying me food, whatever.
Yeah, she was helping you out.
She was helping me
Yeah.
out a lot. Yeah, so I moved in with her for 2 months, and then my mom had this house built or whatever, and she's like, yeah, when you come, you know, the dog and everything, you have the garage and stuff like that. And so then once I moved in with my mom is when my business picked back up again, because I went around the neighborhood giving out cars and stuff like that. And I remember I had 7 yards a week, right? Push mowing, 7 yards. But these are some big houses with some big yards, you know? And then every week I would go and mow them, and it was just so hot, and, you know, it was just so hot. It was just too much at the time, push mowing. So I started slacking again, and, you know, people were like, hey, I'm going to find another company, I'm going to do this and that. So I was like, man, there's something I got to do. I got to do something. So what I did is I went and I got a zero-turn mower. You know, the zero-turn commercial mowers? And when I went and got one of those, man, I was on point every week. Just taking care of people, getting my name out there on the Facebook page. I always promote my business, you know, stuff like that. Really, how I get most of my business is word of mouth, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I've never really paid for advertising or advertised or done nothing.
Yeah.
I just do a good job, and when you do a good job, they refer you to other people, and it just took off from there. And then I started, you know, got 2 trailers, 2 trucks now, and I just started elevating and moving up. But another thing I would say is, whoever's watching this, to invest into your business always, you know, because it's easy when you're getting, you know, when you're making good money and stuff like that. It's easy to just go have fun, to go do whatever you want to do. You know what I mean? But it takes a strong mind to want to invest into your business, and because investing into your business, man, it helps you out in the long run. You know what I mean?
So what happens a lot of times, when you say investing into your business, right? A lot of people get complacent, and they just do enough because that enough, it's providing enough, right? So they're happy. They're like, oh, you know, making good money. Like, you know, I can do this, I can buy that,
Exactly.
and stuff like that. But they don't understand that, like, their vision. They don't have a big vision. It's just a small vision, right?
Yep.
So they feel like, oh, I'm making good money, I'm paying my bills, and I got extra to buy whatever I want. But they don't understand that there's a bigger vision, right? There's a bigger purpose.
Yep.
And that's what happens. Like, they don't invest in themselves. Like, they take it I was like, okay, I got 10 accounts, this is what I need to do, right? Then I send the bill out, they pay me, whatever, that's it. I get my money, whatever, do what I got to do, right? They're not thinking like, this is my business. So if this is my business, I got to set a couple hours every day to work on my business,
Yep.
right? Whether it's advertising, whether it's like how to gain more clients, right? How to follow up with the clients, how to build clientele,
business,
right? And that's what happens. And a lot of times that happens with fighters. Like they think that it's just about fighting,
Yeah.
right? But they don't understand that it's actually their business, like their brand,
Exactly.
right? They're building a brand, so they get complacent, thinking like, oh, I just got to fight, but that's not how it is.
No.
Like the people in fighting at the top, they're making good money because they put the names out there. They build a brand, right? Like sneaker companies and stuff like that.
For sure.
Like, if you don't present yourself, if you don't introduce yourself to other people that don't know you, then they don't have a clue who you are. So why should they follow you? Like they don't know if they can relate to you.
Yeah.
Like, do you like dogs? Like, do you go to church?
Exactly.
Like what do you do? Because you got in our communities, we got different groups of people, right? Some people love their dogs.
For sure.
Some people love playing basketball. Some people love running, right?
Yep.
So, like if you're a fighter and you posting up something about, look at me running, right? Then the people are like running, they follow you because you here and there, you motivated them.
Exactly.
And maybe you can give them a little tip. Hey, when I run, this is what I do. Oh, I love my dogs. Look at me and my dogs, right? So people's like, oh, the people don't like dogs. They're looking at your social media. They're like,
sure.
oh, look, I love dogs too. Like, let's see what he does with his dogs.
Exactly.
Maybe you go running with your dogs. Now you motivate them to go running with the dogs.
Yep.
You see, and that's what happens. A lot of times, like, people just get complacent. They don't see the bigger vision,
Exactly.
right? And they spend more time doing stuff that's really not gonna like helping them grow. They just like spend so much energy and time on things that really, like, when they're done doing it, it's just like having a conversation.
Yeah.
When you finish with the conversation, if you haven't learned anything from that conversation, in a sense, it was a waste of time.
Yep.
Waste of time. You just wasted time that you're not gonna get back.
Exactly.
So when you gotta invest in yourself, just the way when you're working for someone else and you're trying to be a number one employee,
Yep.
right? And you're like, do everything that you want, that you can do to get the bonus and to get this and that. That's the same thing that you got to do for yourself.
Exactly.
And create something for yourself, because otherwise you're gonna, like prior generations, go work for this company, 40 years, retire, get your pension, and then you sit at home and what, you look back and there's really nothing. There's really nothing like solid,
Exactly.
and because we're all gonna die, but what are people gonna remember you by?
Exactly.
Like, what do you do? Like, people are like, okay, some people will remember you for like a week, other people for like a month.
Yeah.
Some people are here and there.
That's true.
But what is the mark? Like, are they gonna tell their kids about you? That you helped them somehow, that you showed them something. And that's what happens, because they put a lot of time into things that don't really matter, that doesn't contribute to their growth as a person, as a business.
Yep.
So they spend a lot of time doing other things. Like, people's like, oh, I lose no sleep over sports, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you saw when you came in, you saw me watching soccer, right?
Yeah.
That was second half and going into like the additional 30 minutes. But I wasn't here when the game started.
Okay.
There was another game that started that happened earlier. I didn't watch it because those people are living out their dream.
Yeah, for sure.
So why am I going to stop my life to watch other people live out their dreams? And I'm here like, how does that make any sense?
Yeah.
Now people, you do whatever the hell you want to do, but I don't think I'm at that level right now where I can sit down and watch football players play for 4 hours.
All day. Yeah.
So 4 hours out of my day, like,
Exactly.
I'm sitting there watching someone else running, doing this, blah blah blah, getting paid.
Exactly.
Right? When the game is over, guess what? I'm not getting paid.
No.
So,
sure, yeah.
and that's what happens. I respect athletes. I respect anyone that's trying to succeed and create a business and trying to sustain their business. because it takes a lot, and it takes a lot of sacrificing. When you start your business, I'm pretty sure like you spend a lot of time just working, right? So there's a time that gets chaotic. You really have no social life. You have a life.
Yeah.
The people that go out all the time, they have no life. So they have to go out.
Go out.
You know, because they got to go seek something to do.
Yeah.
The people that have a life, they stay busy. Trying to grow whatever they're trying to grow.
Yep.
You know, and and that's what happens a lot of times. Like, you know, people don't put that type of energy and focus into stuff that really matters.
Yeah.
You know, because even if you have kids, your kids are looking at you, and they're like, they watch you. They don't care what you say.
Mm-hmm.
Words don't mean anything. You know, like at the end of the day, it's all actions. And your kids watch you, and other kids watch you, and other people watch you. And that, do your actions match your words? And it's, you know, quote unquote. That's the question.
That's the question.
You know,
you
and that's what happens, and that's why a lot of times I feel like a lot of people are afraid to go after the vision because they get scared. You know, they're used to like spending their money on like $400 shoes.
Yeah, Jordans
right?
and stuff. Yep.
And if you see the kids or the people selling those shoes, they're like in regular sneakers.
Yeah.
They're making money.
Exactly.
And then you see the other people with like all these fancy shoes and stuff like that. But what does that really do for them? You know, like, oh, it's gonna make you feel better. Like, I don't get it.
Yeah.
You know,
sure.
like then again, if you already made it, you kind of like, you feel like you reach your vision, right? And you're set. You have a good hefty bank account, and your bills are paid for, and you're taking care of whoever you need to take care of, right? And you have the money to go buy a pair of shoes, and go do it.
Go do it. Exactly.
But how can you do it when you on your way up?
Yeah.
You know, it's not
priorities are messed up.
Yeah. So, and that's what happens a lot of times, man. So I mean, for you, I'm pretty sure, like you were saying, like you had the push mower, and you trying to do like 3 or 4 houses, super crazy.
Yeah.
You know, you're doing it by yourself.
By myself, yeah. Yeah, because I wasn't making enough to pay somebody, you know. So I had to do everything myself. And another thing is a lot of people, they get too comfortable. You know what I mean? And whatever they have right there, they settle for that. But me, no matter what it is, like, I always want more. You know, I always want to keep going and grind to the top, because I'm thinking about my future. You know, when I have kids, that's why I don't have any kids or nothing now. Because when I have kids, I want to make sure I'm set. You know, I'm doing good and everything's going good. But just a lot of people settle for less, and I've never been that type of guy. You know.
Yeah.
And I'm really proud of the guy or the man I became, because in high school I was a whole different kid. You know, I was a kid, so my mindset was totally different than how it is now. And I really, I thank God for that every day, because I'm like, I could have easily went a different route and been somewhere else with the wrong crowd or something like that. You know.
Do you go to church?
Every once in a while, I try to. Yeah.
I mean, you mentioned God, so that's one.
Yeah, I try. Yeah, I've been going to what's it called? Grace Family Church over there in Land O'Lakes. It's really good. Most of the time I go by myself, because I don't know. Me and my girlfriend, we believe in different things.
Different views.
Yeah, different views.
But that's.
So I don't try to force nothing on her. Whatever you want to do, whatever. But the way I grew up around pastors.
Yeah.
My uncle, my stepdad. Everybody's been, pastors, growing up in a church and stuff. So.
Yeah, I mean, and that's great. But what's greater is the fact that you respect someone else's opinion.
Yeah,
right?
For sure.
And as long as their actions are decent and good, that's all that matters.
All that matters.
You know, like I tell a lot of people sometimes, if you don't believe in the broomstick, that's fine. As long as that broomstick keeps you good, that's all that matters. Exactly. And if I'm a Christian, if I consider myself a Christian, then I want to see myself as like, my God is understanding.
Yes, it is.
And my God is not gonna like push away just because you might have your questions, so you might feel a little different about certain things. Yeah. And that's one thing that I always like make sure to be respectful of other people's beliefs, religious beliefs and political beliefs. A lot of people feel like because you have a different opinion that they want to label you, you know, like,
Yeah.
oh, you're wrong, you're bad, whatever, blah blah blah.
Listen.
And we all have an opinion. My thing is just like you got to be able to explain why you have that opinion.
Yeah,
You know?
come with facts.
Yeah,
Exactly.
because a lot of times people just have an opinion, but like,
I feel like
but when you ask why, like they don't
Yeah,
even know why.
exactly,
You know,
exactly.
they're just saying it because they hear other people talking
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah.
You know.
Yep.
So now, like, I mean, you have a partner, or you just by yourself? Like,
Every now and then, like in the summertime when I'm really busy and it's really hot, I take on another guy.
but to come and work for you, like,
yeah.
okay,
To come work for me.
so, but you don't have a partner like owning the company.
Oh
per se.
no!
It's
This
just
is all. It's all me. Yeah, it's
sole
all me.
proprietor.
It's all
Okay.
me, and I've actually thought about partnering. Like I've had friends, who talk to me about partnering and investing into this and stuff. But
Yeah,
I just I rather do everything myself because I know like the dedication and how hungry I am, versus someone. It can if you go in with a partner, man. You never. It's like 50-50, You know, they could either screw it up or they might not be as dedicated as you are, and it just causes problems.
you gotta get the right one, man.
Yeah, the right one.
And
Exactly.
because that's and when I say the right one, like the person also has to have an ambition. You
Yep.
know, like a good healthy ambition of like wanting to do better,
Exactly.
wanting more. You know, and a lot of times what happens when you have a partnership, sometimes certain people they don't have that ambition, and if you have that ambition, you see now it's like
different.
yeah you're being counted on, and you're trying to move forward, move ahead, and the other person's holding you back.
Yep.
So it's just about, I think, like having the right person.
The right person.
Sure.
Finding
the right person, a person with principle and character and,
Yep.
and values. Those are the people
The
that.
thing is, I never so me doing all this, creating my own business and stuff, like I've never had friends in the same boat or with the same mindset and stuff like that. So
happens a lot.
It's pretty much just me, and then I have friends around me, but I'm the only one doing something, like my siblings and stuff. That's why sometimes I get mad at my siblings because, they have their diplomas, they graduated and everything, but they're sitting here working for somebody, complaining about this and that and stuff like that. I'm like, I look at them like, you guys are blessed, because you have your diploma. You can go and be a doctor. You can go do anything you want to do, I don't have my diploma. I know I can still go get it, but I'm working hard right now to succeed. You know what I mean? And
how far are you trying to like? Are you trying to grow your company? Like,
yeah, that's
like what is your ultimate goal?
That's another thing I was gonna say is when you come into something like this, you have to have a plan. Because when I was working for a lot of companies, there'll be 40, 50-year-old guys who've been there 20, 30 years, and they're just doing the same thing every day, and they're comfortable. But me seeing all that honestly made me make my decision because, like, when you come into this type of business or any business, you have to have a plan, So if I don't have a plan, I could be doing the same thing for 10, 20 years, and just be, this is my business, whatever. But my goal is to, so I've been 2 years by myself now. I honestly didn't want to go into growing my business just because, like you said, people are scared, the risk and everything like that. But sometimes you have to take that risk to see the outcome.
Yeah.
So my goal is by this summer coming up is to have like a 2 or 3 man crew and running the yards while I go and get the jobs, do the estimates, stuff like that. And then eventually I want to invest into another business so I can have a couple sources of income, So
I think that's important, man, to learn how to invest into other businesses. And you're gonna have some short-term investments, and you're gonna have some long-term investments, right? That might, like, you gotta invest your money into it, and it might take a little. It might take a while, but eventually, like as the company grows, your money grows as well.
Exactly.
Your cut grows as well. So, but that I mean that would be awesome, and I know you're gonna do it. Have a crew, you can go out there, do the estimates, and follow up with the customers and things like that.
Check the work.
Yeah, absolutely. Because otherwise, it's a lot on your plate. But obviously, you got to know, like in your community, it might be a little, right. I don't want to use the word easy, but in being that you have a lot of customers within your community, it allows a certain level of flexibility,
For sure.
right? But once you start going outside more and you start getting more accounts and stuff like that, then you need to have a little more of like a follow up, right? And do the right estimates and tell them this how much it's going to cost you, whatever, blah blah. And then obviously you have a crew that goes out there and takes care of the business, takes care of like the yards.
One thing I was told is if you take care of your workers, they'll take care of you. You know what I mean? So
absolutely. And I think a lot of people, what happens when they create businesses, they think they know it all, and they don't. Right? And is a live journey where like you consistently trying to learn something, and the key for any business is that you know how to treat your employees.
For sure.
And if you treat them right, it's not just about treating them right, but it's also like mentoring them. So eventually they don't do what this guy tried to do to you when you were trying to like do a little extra for yourself.
For sure.
And he didn't want to see that, right? Because then he saw you as competition. It should never be like that. It should like, you have some employees. Yeah, obviously you're gonna pay them for the work, but at the same time it's about you trying to mentor them to eventually maybe run their own company, or not even like you can even like create a partnership with them because you already got stuff running. So who cares if the guy says like, hey, you know what? Let's partner up. I'll open up another branch in another county. You know what I mean? And there you are. So you invest into it. You already know how things work. You know things that need to be in place.
Exactly.
And then now you get a new partner, right? And you still maintain your own business. But now you're extending your wings, right? And now you have another branch in another county, and that branch it belongs to you and someone else.
Being ran, exactly. For example, I had my best friend Tony working with me. I'd say probably like 2 months ago, and works around this time of the year. Work slows down a little bit because instead of every week, it switches to every 2 weeks in the beginning of November. So work started slowing down. So the weeks that I'm not cutting, I need to stay occupied and find like side jobs, stuff to keep me busy. So it got a little bit slow, and I honestly told him like, look, man, I was like, I'm not trying to hold you back from any of your dreams or whatever you want to do in life. It's a little slow right now, and I don't want to be held accountable for. I know you got stuff to take care of and stuff, So if you want, you can go find another job or go work whatever you have to do to take care of yourself. And it was no hard feelings. We're still best friends. We still call each other every day. And now he's working at another place, making good money, doing his thing, and he's happy. You know what I mean? And that's the type of stuff I want to see. Like, I don't want to hold you here forever. You know what I mean? I want to see you get out and do your own thing, especially since we're young. I want to see all of us, winning, and that's the biggest thing to me.
And that's a great thing. Yeah. But there's a lot of people out there that they want to be the winners. They want to be, and they don't want to see other people winning.
Exactly.
They
get greedy.
Oh.
Yeah.
Dude.
It's insane.
More than greediness, I think, is like insecurity. They're not confident with themselves, and when they see other people like doing well, like they feel it makes them more insecure. But it has to do with their own little traumas or whatever in life. Yeah. Because today we're here, and tonight we got a lottery. You buy a ticket and you win all those millions, and you're like, I coach you in 10 years. I'll be so happy, bro. Yeah. I'll be so happy because I'm like, bro, one guy that doesn't have to like go through the bullshit.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Sure. Like, but that's just me.
I'm the type of guy, if I left here and won millions, here you go.
No. But and I understand that, and that's very noble of you. But at the same time, like I'm very giving,
for
right?
Sure.
But other people pretend to be giving, but they're not.
So
I mean, like they want you to like I was saying before, kind of like depend on them.
Yeah.
So here, but I'm happy for other people. I'm happy to see other people doing great. I feel like we all have different timing, and
for sure. Today's
your day.
Yep.
Tomorrow might be mine.
Exactly.
So I don't worry about that stuff. Yeah. But some people, they don't see it like that. They just want to hold on to the power, you know,
Yeah.
and be like, oh, you know, like, oh, everyone wants to come to my house, everyone wants to like here, you know, and that's cool, dude. I mean, I really appreciate it, but I know some good people that have succeeded in life,
Uh-huh.
as far as business goes and things like that, and they're the most humble people, man.
Yeah,
Like the most humble people,
that's awesome.
like they run businesses and they demand respect
Yeah.
for their employees. It doesn't matter who's working in that business. Um, they want people to be treated right with respect.
Exactly.
You know, they don't want people to come in and feel like, you know, oh, I'm over you, you know, stuff like that. No, they don't like that.
No.
They're very humble, and
Like we're
you
all
see the
equal.
way they treat their employees.
Yep.
Obviously, we all equal as far as human beings goes. But then obviously when we working, everyone has a different role, right?
Yep.
You got someone that's going to lead, someone that's going to follow, and stuff like that. But what's important is that if you're leading, that you teach those that follow eventually how to lead.
Yep.
You know,
Exactly.
and that's a key, man. And that's why I like hearing that you're talking about, you know, like when you have a bigger crew and stuff like that, to like make sure that you're treating your employees right.
Yep. For
You
sure.
know, because then they'll want to go the extra mile for
Extra
you.
mile.
And that's what it comes down to, man. Just like having that respect for people. And
as far as like treating you right, they'll treat your equipment right, everything.
yeah, and you need people to be invested, man.
Mm-hmm.
And not everyone is motivated by money, you know.
For
Some
sure.
people are motivated by other things, by family and emotions.
Yep.
And things like that. So it doesn't matter how much you pay them. Like, um, like some people want to feel that they can come to work and not feel like, you know, they're going to deal with a headache.
Exactly.
They want to show up, do their work, and feel that they learned something.
What I tell other people is because, you know, they see. So what they say is a lot of people see what you have, but they don't know what you've gone through. You know what I mean? So some people will tell me like, man, you got a nice truck. You know, you got this and that. Like, man, I wish I was like you and stuff. And the thing I tell them is like, bro, you can be just like me, and you can be even better than me. You know what I'm saying? It's all how you handle yourself. Because my sister, you know, I'm a big inspiration to my sister.
Mm-hmm.
You know, she tells me all the time, "You're so lucky. You know, one day I wish I could be like you and stuff." And I tell her, I'm like, "You can, sis." I'm like, "You just have to," and then try to give her advice and stuff. But you know, you can only tell someone so much, and they're just gonna do what they want to do. You know. But it just makes me feel good that I gave my advice, or I tell people how it worked for me, you know, so they can take that. If you don't want to take that, you know, that's fine, but at least I told you, you know?
Yeah, but usually that's what happens. Like me having kids, my kids only listen to some of the stuff that I say. The rest, they're just going to be hard-headed. So what I tried to do is I've always tried to create an environment where I got other friends that kind of like on the same page.
Yeah.
So I bring them around my friends, and then they can tell them.
Oh,
you know,
okay.
so I don't have to tell them because they'll be quicker to listen to them.
Exactly.
Right? Or my friends will repeat something that I've told them before. You know, and then they just look at me, and I'm like, there you go.
Told you.
You know, so that's why it's so important to create that environment, especially when we have kids. And not just for that, but for everyone. You know, because you can tell your sister many things, and but if everybody else on the other side is not really being motivating her or trying to push her to like do something bigger or to help her think and feel that she can do better, then it's kind of like up and down, you know. So obviously you coming around and trying to help her and trying to like tell her like, hey, you can do better than me, you know. But obviously you got to put in the time. You got to, you know, do this, do that.
Work. It's not easy. You know, it doesn't come overnight. And trials and tribulations, you just have to stay strong and keep going.
Yeah. Do you read?
No, not really. No.
You know,
I tried to read. I actually went to the bookstore like a few months back, and there's a book called like Rich Dad,
Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Yeah, Poor Dad. Yeah, I read a little bit of that, but I did try to get into reading just to, you know, get a better outlook of things and stuff like that.
You should. I think reading is important. You don't have to read every book out there, but I think there's like some good reading that is gonna help you keep your mind sharp.
Yeah, for sure.
And especially if you're trying to do like business and trying to grow your business.
Mm-hmm.
What would be great is for you to look into books that maybe teach you a little bit about business. Teach about. Um, I think a psychology book is pretty important, especially if you're gonna have employees. Um, Maybe a little bit
Psychology,
of,
you said?
yeah, psychology, finance, accounting, little
Yep.
things like that. I think those are good books to read, especially trying to do what you're trying to do, especially if you're trying to grow your business.
Yeah, so for just me just being in this by myself, I've taught myself a lot. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't go to school for landscaping and learn this and this and that. Like, I just jumped into it and just learned myself, and I'm still learning to this day. Sometimes I won't know what a certain plant is, and the customer knows what the plant is. And she tells me, and I'm like, oh wow, I didn't know that. Thanks for telling me, and stuff like that. But as far as like my friends, I don't really have any friends with the same type of mindset or hungriness as I have.
Yeah.
So my main goal right now is I want to start surrounding myself with more business people. You know what I mean? And people that can relate to things we can relate to. We could talk about different ideas. That's the thing. In February 15th will be 2 years I'm officially in business.
Mm-hmm.
So what I want to do is host like a business seminar type thing. We all come together and just hang out. There'd be tree guy, pressure washing guy, lawn guy, whatever. Just come together and talk about just ideas and because sometimes there'll be that guy that doesn't think like that, and this guy thinks like that, and then when you guys talk, you'll be like, oh wow, you have different ideas.
And that's actually really good that you're thinking like that, because that will help you a lot. I mean, obviously, think about this. Like you have kids that go to school for business or management, and they got to open up a book and learn about all these different things, but you're already ahead of them. Because you already have a business, you're already running a business. Exactly. You're already like applying business concepts without even knowing it. If you were to read a business book, it'll give you the theoretical part, the words.
For sure.
Because sometimes at some point as your business grows, you gotta know how to read contracts.
Yeah, exactly.
Think about it. Fighters gotta learn how to read contracts. But you can go and ask the fighters, how many fighters are actually doing research on what contracts are about?
Yeah.
What fighters are calling contract lawyers?
It's funny that you're talking about that, because my girlfriend, so since I don't have like an account or anything, my girlfriend takes care of like my paperwork, receipts, stuff like that. She keeps me organized, and I'm really blessed to have her in my life. But we were just talking recently about going into the new year. I'm gonna make contracts, and because now you need this done, okay, we text or we call about it and we go get it done. But a lot of the times is we'll talk about something, and then when I get there, they want to add extra stuff or do this and that, and I'm like, we didn't talk about that or whatever, and it's kind of a bad business, So
so what you do is like when you have you got to create an estimate form, right? And you write down like all the different things, and then once you give them the estimate, it'll have a price, right? A cost, and then you add a note in there. Any additions, we will have to revise the contract or the estimate.
For sure.
So every time you show up, you got to write down everything that's going to be done on the paper.
Yeah.
Right. So when you show up, this is what I'm doing, and this how much it's going to cost you. Now, if they start going like, well, I want, can you do this? Can you do that? Then like, yeah, I can do that, but let me add it to the agreement.
Yep.
That's an addition,
Exactly.
and that's how you got to treat it. So that's and this is what I'm saying. It's so important to read books and understand those things, because you got to put it on paper.
Yeah.
Right. You have clients with your community and your neighbors. There's a little more flexibility, maybe more of a understanding, coming from a good place.
For sure.
Because you guys are neighbors. But once you start going outside, people that don't live in your neighborhood, you don't know what you're getting into.
Exactly.
So that's why it's always so important to create the estimate and put a note box saying if anything, any extra additions, we have to revise the estimate.
Exactly. So yeah, that's what we're talking about. I was doing contracts and for all my yards and stuff like that, or for pretty much anything. They sign it at the beginning of the month. This is what I'm doing. This is what is included in the service. Anything extra, like you said, would be an additional cost or whatever it is. And so yeah, I'm in business and stuff, but like every day I think about how can I be more professional? How can I, do this better, do this,
That's the key. And if you go to be honest with you, man, if you Google it, you can Google landscaping estimates, landscaping estimate forms, right?
Okay.
And then you'll have a whole bunch of different things, and you print out like 3 of them, and then review them, and then make up your own little thing.
Okay.
With what applies to you, because they might be doing all the services that you don't provide, right? So you just grab from here, grab from here, grab from here, and then you just make it into one that applies to what you do and your services.
For sure.
But everything there's a lot of information out there, man. It's a lot of information, but you see, this is what I'm saying. Like, people have a phone. The tool is so freaking powerful.
Yeah.
When I was younger, I had to go to a library and look at books and stuff. We didn't have phones. We didn't have a lot of things.
Sure. Sometimes, you get so busy you can forget, or and it's just
so you doing extra work for free sometimes.
Yeah, for free. Yeah, or sometimes just out of a good heart and stuff. My dad always taught me, like, business is business. You know what I mean? And sometimes,
but that's your choice, though. Like if you don't want to charge someone something, it's up to you.
Or sometimes they'll ask me. Sometimes it depends how I'm feeling. Like, I'll say no, or I can't. Whatever. And then most of the time I'm like, yeah, I'll do it or whatever. And then I think in my head, like, man, I need to charge, or I need to do.
Because you're being good-hearted, but that's why you need to put it on paper.
Yeah, exactly.
Once you put it on paper, they just follow the paper.
They can't do nothing. Yeah. This is what we talked about. This is what's going to happen. It is what it is. And what was I going to say?
But that's interesting that you have your girlfriend helping you with the bookkeeping.
Yes,
so she's doing the paperwork for you, making sure everything's in place. Yep. Helping you with the numbers or whatever and stuff like that. So that's important, man. That you have the type of support and this type of help.
It is.
And obviously, if your company grows, you grow, she grows.
Exactly.
Yep. And that's
how it
so
works.
key, man. Yeah, because it would be like a power couple.
Yeah, she helps me and I help her. And I've had some clients tell me, like, you need to keep her or whatever. She's a good girl. You guys could really go far, And that's what we've been doing.
How many siblings you got?
I have one brother and 3 sisters.
3 sisters?
Yeah, 3 sisters. And my older sister, she's she has her high school diploma and stuff. She was going to school for law, and she didn't end up following through with that. So she does whatever she does now. My younger sister, she actually graduated too, but she doesn't use that to an extent. You know what I'm saying? So all of them graduated, but they're not pursuing, their dreams or whatever it is. And like we talked about, everybody has their time. So I may have started my business now and stuff, but maybe when she's 35, she maybe start taking off, or doing something with herself. But I always try to tell people, the sooner the better. You know what I mean? Because, for example, my dad, through his whole life, messing up, doing this, working these jobs, now he's 48 years old and he just started his tree business, and he has a bad shoulder, stuff like that. So, and I kind of use him as an example because, man, no matter, my dad's my biggest inspiration. He's the one who always supports me. If I buy a new piece of equipment or something, he's like, wow, he's just as amazed as I am, Before I make big major moves, I always ask my dad for his advice or whatever. And if my dad says go ahead, I go ahead. You know what I mean? I don't have to second question him or nothing like that. So he's played a big part. But as far as me building my business, I didn't really have no support like he had. He had his wife. His wife had an ex-husband who had his own lawn business. So she pretty much got the LLC, put everything together. Takes the client's calls, stuff like that. And I'm just looking at me. I'm like, it's just me. I have to do everything, estimates, paperwork, everything. And it can be hard at times, but
it is. But the reward is so much bigger because
you
have to build it on your own.
Exactly.
you have the support, you know.
Yep.
So he's an inspiration in his own way, but at the same time, I feel like your inspiration is even bigger because being younger,
Mm-hmm.
you know, is a little bit harder to focus than when
Exactly.
you're older,
Yep.
right? Me personally, dude, I've always been fairly disciplined. Like since I was young, like I was the dude that woke up at 5 o'clock in the morning, go wake people up to go running and stuff like
Oh
that.
wow.
But but I developed that,
Yeah.
you know. I was like really on point with the things that I wanted to do. Uh, Unfortunately, I was disciplined with the good things and with the bad things too, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Sure.
it's just like one of those things that you know. But then when you're disciplined with the bad things, it consumes your energy, you
Yeah.
know, your time. Like then you're like, you turn around and you're like, what
Time's
happened?
gone.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah,
Time's
and
gone.
you're not gonna get it back.
Yep.
But you know, but then look, it's pretty cool that your dad, you inspire him to go and do something too,
For
um,
sure.
even though he's older than you. Um, so that tells you that there's no age, right, to pursue something.
Yeah. For sure.
Um, you can be young, you can be older, but you can still pursue it if you really want to. He might have a bad shoulder, and it might be a little more challenging for him because obviously it's something physical,
Yeah.
right? Um, but at the same time, he's doing it.
Yeah. He is.
So if he's doing it at his age, what can someone young say? You know, what's the excuse?
Exactly.
If you're doing it at your age, what can someone your age say?
What's the excuse? Exactly. You just gotta look at it like that. I mean, there'll be days like, cause I know my dad has a bad shoulder and stuff like
Mhm.
that. He climbed, man. He'll go up on a 10-foot ladder, trimming a palm tree or something with no help. And every day, man, I used to work, get off. I would try to get off as early as I can, like 3 o'clock, 2 o'clock. And I would call. Oh, I have his location,
Mhm.
so I would pull up on his job site and I would start helping him and stuff for free. I'd be like, Dad, you don't have to pay me, you know, whatever. And every single day, I literally was driving to Tampa to go help him. You
To
know,
help him out.
yeah, cause just cause how bad I felt and stuff like that. and me and him been talking too, and he says the same thing. In the summertime, he wants to put a crew together, get
Yeah.
it going and stuff, cause his shoulder, you know, he can't hang on for that long. But
But
Yeah.
that's the key, man. Like you put in the work.
Yeah.
And you go out there, you do it, you learn how it's done, and then you can create that crew,
Yeah,
right?
sure.
And then you could do the other things that are not as physical, right?
Yep.
And you still put your time into your business, but you do it from a different angle, right?
Different angle.
Now you're gonna go do the estimates, you're gonna talk to the customer, and you're not rushing,
Nope.
right? Because when you have to do the work and talk to the customers, you're like, oh, I gotta go because I gotta do this one, I gotta do that one.
Exactly.
But when you focus on just doing estimates, then you're able to go out there and actually spend a little bit of time with the customers and explain to them what's going on, what you have to do, you know, what is it that they want, you know, and
For sure.
things like that. And you know, so it's important to there's going to be a time of chaos, right?
Mhm.
And you got to go, but that's going to teach you something. And then eventually, all everything that was taught to you by the chaotic moment, now you're able to create a crew and you go do the administrative part,
Yep.
right? And that's how it works.
And it goes
you know?
smoother.
Yeah, that's how it works
Smoother,
because
yeah.
now you got the energy. Your whole energy is devoted to talk to the customer, create a relationship, you know, and explain to them. Take your time. You're not rushing. Nothing like that.
For
You
sure.
know,
Yep.
you got the other crew, which is like taking care of business.
Exactly.
So and that's it. Right now, I mean, I'm pretty sure like you know you got to go talk to the customers. You got to do this. You got to do that. Then you're like, oh man, I got to go do this now. I got to do.
Yeah.
You see,
By the time you know it's 6 o'clock already, you know, I'm getting home late and
it
stuff.
can be a lot, man.
It's a lot, yeah. So and a lot of people, they don't realize, you know, they just think of how they want to think. And I tell them like, man, you just put yourself in my shoes, man. You know what I'm saying? You'll understand. But another thing is like excuses. I don't like excuses at all. Like,
Mhm.
you know, I got a good heart and stuff like that. But when people just start saying, you know, because when I'm trying to tell somebody or give them advice or something, they just keep saying, well this, well that, well this. I'm like, bro, one day I jumped up, I did what I wanted to do, and now look where I'm at. You know what I mean? I'm not I'm not the highest point I want to be at, but I'm at a good level right now. And, you know, I can't find a job because of this, or they're not hiring, or this and this and that, you know, and I'm just like, I keep pushing, like, well, you got to do this. You got to go in and talk to the manager, you know, tell them that you want a job, you'll start today, whatever it takes, you know what I mean? And sometimes my girlfriend, she gets mad at me because, you know, she'll be giving me what I call excuses. And I'm like, bro, I'm not the one to listen, because I don't give excuses. You know, I'll be down bad and no one will know that I'm down bad. You know what I mean? Because I know that one day it's going to get better. You know, and that's how I always think. I'm like, it's going to get better, you know, just stay humble, keep going, it's going to get better. And every time, it does. It always does, you know?
Dude, excuses, like, it hinders your progress so bad, man.
Yeah.
But that just show, just sometimes we go through a stage which is kind of like a stage of like a weak mind. It pushes me away from people.
Yep.
You know, it pushes me away from people because there's people out there that are going through like some serious stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and they don't have excuses.
But,
You know, they try to figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
Like a homeless person is not telling you like, oh, this and that. You know, a homeless person is like, they're trying to figure out like how they're going to eat next day or till
Exactly.
later today.
Yep.
And they just got to go do it. You
Exactly.
know, and,
Yep.
and that's why a lot of times, like when people are trying to give excuses, man, like
It's
things
tough.
are gonna happen.
Yeah, for sure.
Things are gonna happen here and there, you know. But when you consistently coming up with things to excuse your behavior, to excuse, you know, your bad habits and stuff like that, then I don't like that.
Then
I
it
think
gets
it's just a
old.
waste of time. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a waste of time. I don't want people like that around me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, I can only put up with stuff like that for so long. Then after that, it's just kind of like it turns me off,
For sure.
right? And then it kind of like pushes me away from people.
Yep.
Like I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it because I went through my things in life, and I'm not out there giving excuses why this, why that. You know, like I don't take it like that. And
Things that happen. Yep.
Yeah, and I see a lot of people going through many things in life, like some serious stuff, you know, and you don't hear them talking like that. They don't talk like that.
Nope. They do what they have to do.
Yeah, that's all you can do. Like, yeah, but at the same time, you got to hold yourself accountable,
Mm-hmm.
and you got to step up. Like if you messing up, you're messing up.
Yep.
You know, if like those people that go to work and they always get sick either Friday or Monday. They never get sick during the week. It's really
Never.
interesting.
Yep.
You know, but they always get sick on Friday or Monday.
Payday
I'm
or
like-
the first day of the week.
I'm like, really? Like, how does that happen? Like you know, it's like every time you get sick, I guess your sickness is very selective
Yep.
because it never takes Tuesday or Wednesday or Thursday, you know, to
To
get
get
sick.
sick.
It's always like
The same
around the
day.
weekend.
Yeah.
It's always around the weekend. So for me, you know, like I don't like excuses, man. Like if you messed up, you messed up. If you know,
Exactly,
like
that's
you
the
can't be
thing.
justifying everything that you do wrong. You know,
Yep.
just
Take
to,
up for your actions, pretty much. You know.
Yeah.
You know, if you did wrong, you know you did wrong, or you know, just step up for yourself.
yeah. But it's easier for people sometimes to just point fingers at everybody else.
Yeah, for sure.
You know,
Yep.
and not blame themselves,
Exactly.
and they don't understand like they don't look at themselves in the mirror.
Mm-hmm.
Like they just want. It's so much easier to just be like, well, oh, you know, well, that person didn't do this, or for me, or that person, you know, like, and that's
Yep.
just bullshit.
Yep.
You know, like how many people out there? Oh, my parents didn't do this. My parents didn't do that. So who cares? You're a grown person now.
Grown
Like,
man.
go change it,
Go change
fix it, adjust it.
Or they have their sob story from how they grew up and stuff like that, and that's the reason they are
Yeah,
now.
we all have a story.
Yeah,
to
and
tell,
I'm like,
you know?
man, there's people who grew up bad, and look at them, they're successful now. It's because they wanted to do that, and they chose a different path. But if you just have the same sob story from when you were younger and you don't do nothing about it, you're gonna go your whole life not accomplishing nothing and still in the same position.
Mhm.
You know, so yeah, man, I've learned a lot being self-employed, and it's honestly like made me the guy I am today, and I'm really appreciative. You know, I don't judge other people. I don't look down on other people. I don't talk down on other people. you know, because God, you know, I can have everything I have now, but God can take that away so easy. You know, one day you can have it, the next day it can all be gone. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So that's why you have to stay humble and just focus on what you have going on and what you want in life and for your future, because it can be taken away so easy. And most people don't notice that. You know, like something happened to me physically. You know, who's gonna run my business for me?
Mm-hmm.
Nobody. You know, it's all up to me, and that's how I think sometimes. You know, obviously it doesn't stop me from doing, like, you know, training with you guys and stuff like that. It doesn't stop me because, you know, I like to do that stuff, and it keeps me. The way I look at it is self discipline. You know,
Mm-hmm.
so if you're doing something that's challenging, you're disciplining yourself by knowing that you can do whatever it takes to get done. You know what I mean? And that's just really what it is. You got to challenge yourself.
So you think other kids in their 19, 20, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, like you think they can do what you did?
Yeah, I do. I do. It's sad to say, you know, of course I'm a part of this generation that I'm in, but, you know, a lot of this generation is just, I see them doing the same thing every weekend, clubbing, you know, hanging out, drinking, partying, stuff like that. And while they're doing that, I'm sitting here building my career, you know. And by the time we're all 35, I was talking to one of my good friends, and it's like, man, by the time we hit 35, we're gonna really see who's been working. You know what I mean? Where we're all gonna be. We're gonna see who's been really grinding hard. You know, it was a big thing because I just feel like, you know, a kid that age, you know, it does. Sometimes, you know, you have to have a support system, and sometimes you don't need a support system. You know, but honestly, you could probably go or start better if you have a support system behind you. You know, like I had my mom, I have my dad, I have my stepdad. You know what I mean? And they're every time I do something, every time I move the next move, they're supporting me, or it's good to hear, you know, wow, good job, you know, stuff like that. Because if you're just doing something and you never, like, no one recognizes it and stuff, sometimes it could put you, you know, in a dark spot. And it's just a blessing, you know. Some people don't have it. One of my friends, he used to tell me, "But you have your mom, you have your dad," and I'm like, I'm blessed. Like, what am I supposed to do? You know, that's the life God chose for me.
Yeah,
And,
but you got your mom, you got your dad, but it's not like they were like teaching
yeah,
you how to grow your business.
yeah, that's another thing. I'm like, they don't come call me every morning or knock on my door. Hey, you have to get up at 7. You got 10 yards to do. You don't have, you know, you got to go change your blades or take care of your mowers. They don't tell me none of that.
Yeah.
That's all in my brain. You know what I mean? And the more you go into it, the more better you get at it. Just like anything else, you know, the more you fight, the better you get. You know, so if you go in business and the more you do it, the better you get. You just keep progressing, and you know, you can never know too much. You know, you're always learning, no matter what it is. Like, you're always learning, and yeah.
Do you watch like inspirational videos and stuff like that? Do you go on YouTube, for example, and watch stuff like that? Like,
no, I'm not really a TV guy. I don't really watch a lot of TV. I don't watch YouTube that much. Nothing like that. I do have, like, from social media, like you said, when I post my work and stuff that I do on there. You know, people may not congratulate you, but there's people are always watching. You know what I mean? And for me to say that is because, like, sometimes when I run into old friends from high school and stuff like that, the first thing they always say to me, "What's up, bro? I see you doing your thing in your lawn business, this and this and that," you know? And then I just think to myself, I'm like, wow. I'm like, you know, they notice. Like, the hard work doesn't go unnoticed pretty much, you know what I mean? And
but you know what happens too with a lot of with the older generation, and this is one of the reasons like why Brandon and I, like, we started doing this thing, because I think sometimes like the older generation is judging the younger generation, and the younger generation is judging the older generation. Right? But because it becomes a battle of like which generation was better, there's so much judging instead of mentorship. So the younger generation, they don't want to become apprentices. They don't want to learn from the older generation.
Exactly.
And the older generation doesn't want to teach the young generation.
Yep.
You see? So now there's a conflict between those generations, and nothing gets done. I think, like, as an older person, there's a responsibility to mentor, like, the next generation. You know, the guys coming up.
Exactly.
And it's also like the younger generation responsibility, instead of like trying to be so different from the older generation, because there's a reason why the world is the way it is, right? Like, I mean, we hear, like, you're driving a car, everybody has like access to a lot of things, especially in this country,
For sure.
right? So that was built by the older generation.
Yeah.
So the younger generation also has to learn how to, like, embrace the knowledge and the wisdom of the older generation.
Yeah.
You know?
Be willing to learn and still take
And
advice and
look,
stuff.
look at you. Look, it's really interesting because you started a business. You inspired and motivated your dad,
Yes,
right?
for sure.
So to go and open something up. But you know what's funny?
Hmm.
Well, not funny, but what's interesting is that you talk to your dad about making certain decisions.
Yep.
But you're the one that started this whole business. You're the one that influenced him, that motivated him, inspired him. But you call him
Yeah, exactly.
to talk about making certain decisions.
Yep.
Think about that.
That's deep.
You see?
Yeah.
So it's just because you're embracing wisdom.
Yep.
And you only gain wisdom by life experience. You
Literally.
know? And there's people that have a lot of wisdom because they've been through a lot of things in life.
You just have to, what I've learned is you just have to, before you speak, just listen. You know what I mean? Just always listen, because, you know, just from something so little that someone tells you can take you a long way. You know what I mean? And my main goal was, when my dad had his food truck, I used to always talk to him about, come on, man, sell this food truck. Let's start a lawn business together, like going
Yeah.
together. And so it kind of like had me irritated, because he did sell his food truck, and then eventually he got into his own lawn business, his own name. And, you know, I already had my thing going on, so it kind of irritated me. And I'm like, man, now he wants to start his lawn business. I'm like, man, we could be in this together. You know, father, son, whatever. But yeah, I've always supported him. He's always supported me, and you know, when there's like big jobs and stuff,
But you know what? Maybe that's wisdom.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna tell you why. Because him as an adult, he probably felt like he didn't want to damage the relationship.
Okay.
You see
That
what I mean?
makes sense.
Because I love my sons, and we can be very similar in many things, but there's other things that we're not very similar.
Yeah.
And I can be hard-headed, they can be hard-headed. And if we were to run a business together, it would probably work, but I would have to be very careful.
Exactly.
Very, very careful. You know, because knowing them and knowing myself, I would never want to damage that relationship.
No.
So maybe in his mind, he's like, if I create my own company and become supportive of you, or remain supportive, it'll avoid any future conflict or disagreements, you know, because you might be like, nah, Dad, but let's do it like this.
Yeah.
And he might be like, son, no, let's do it like that.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, no, Dad, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
So
then,
back and forth.
now you got discrepancies. Now you got conflict.
Yep.
And things like that. So maybe his wisdom, maybe he was like, he thought about it and he said, yeah, maybe we can do that. But at the same time, father and son, what did we have a disagreement? What did we have fallen out? What happens with the company?
Yep.
It affects the business.
It does.
You see?
Mm-hmm.
So, and then he would have to be very, very careful. And maybe, like I said, maybe his mind, he's like, let me just do it a little different. So we support one another and we keep our sanity in our relationship. You gotta also like keep in mind, a lot of time with the Hispanic culture, you got this generational curses, right? And traumas. So as you're growing up, they try to tell you that in order for you to like be someone, you got to be a doctor, or you got to be an engineer, stuff like that. So when you go and just try to create your own thing, they get scared.
Yeah.
Because they're like, oh my God, I want something more for my son, but they don't have that that ability to see things like that, because like obviously, they probably grew up under parents that told them like, hey, go work for this business and work 30, 40 years and retire and get your pension. They didn't tell them like, go create your own business. And most of the people that do create their own business, because somewhere along the line, like, they run into someone that motivated them or push them in that direction, to go create your own stuff. And then you got people like yourself who, like, you say, like, you know what, like, I want to try something different. But there's something that clicked, obviously it's something that
For
clicked,
sure.
that that you didn't want to repeat, like,
Yeah,
the generation.
well, it's pretty much because like so my dad's side of the family, they're all alcoholics and drugs and all that stuff. So like all my uncles and stuff, I lost them to that, and even my dad was like that when he was younger. And so that's really what really pushed me, is because I was like, I'm never gonna be like them. I don't ever want to be like that.
So you broke a big barrier.
Yeah, so I broke a big curse, and it just makes me feel really good, because, like I said, I could have went the other route. I could have been like all of them, and I could have just kept it going and stuff. Alcohol, I hate alcohol. Drugs, I hate drugs. And so that's why I feel really proud of myself. But what was I gonna say? But yeah, so yeah, my mom being negative and everything like that, it just kept wanting me to push and go harder and show her that I can do this, And then we just had a joke the other day, because I still live with my parents, and the garage, I have my dump trailer and my landscape trailer, so the whole garage is taken up and stuff like that, which I pay rent, I help them out, I mow the yard, I do stuff like that to help them out and stuff, so my stepdad doesn't have to do it. And she made a joke the other day. I told her about the podcast. I was coming to the podcast. And she's like, make sure to tell them you still live with your mom. And I was like, I started laughing. I'm like, you think that's funny? I was like, it's alright, because one day I'm gonna have a bigger house than you.
Hey,
I'm working towards it.
That's
that's
how it works.
And she's like, you know what? She's like, you're right. And then she's like, I'm gonna come live with you. And I was like, so like her saying all that and stuff, like, I want to be in a position to where I can have that happen. Like my parents come live with me. Everything's taken care of, and they live a simple, life, because she's been working at this job for freaking 20 years, I believe, and it's collection. So she sits at a computer, calls people, collection. They talk dirty, and my mom, she doesn't handle none of that.
Yeah.
She'll be quick to tell you about your mom and everything.
Yeah.
so since she can't, she gets, it takes over her mind, and it's real frustrating. So she finally, and I've been telling her for a while, I'm like, Mom, this job's gonna drain you. Like, it's gonna.
It becomes very stressful.
Yeah, very stressful.
And because you're having to deal with other people's attitudes.
Yeah.
And you don't understand it, but she might say something, but at the same time, it's like, it creates an internal conflict.
Yep.
Right, and that creates other things. It happens.
I feel like it was bad. It's bad for her health.
Yeah, absolutely, it is. They suck your energy.
One day, like I said, you're gonna be coming to live with me or something
Absolutely.
like that. Like my future's gonna be bright. I'm not just doing this and just laying around and stuff like that. So that's another difference. Because some of my friends ask me, they ask me the same thing. Man, you got your own business, but you're still living with your parents. And the thing I try to explain to them is, because I've had my own apartment with my roommate before, and he quit his job and stuff just went sideways. I got an eviction and all that stuff. So my thing is like, I'm doing it smart this time. Instead of just jumping out there because I have a business, I can afford this and that. What I was doing is I'm building my business while living with my parents, making sure, my clientele, everything, have all my equipment now. So now when I do move out, sometime beginning of next year, hopefully, when I do move out, I'm already established, and now I could just focus on my bills and everything I got to focus on and still go with my business, and, some people understand that and some people won't, but I just feel like that's the smartest thing.
But you know what, dude? Like, at the end of the day, it's none of the business.
Yeah.
Like, they don't have to understand anything.
Anything.
You know, like you got to do what you feel you need to do, and as long as your parents are okay with that, that's all that matters. You're not sitting there for free. Like you're actually paying rent and helping them, right? And I'm pretty sure like they appreciate that because otherwise they would have to do all that work, right?
Yeah, they do.
So you there, you keep an eye on them as well. You know, you being helpful and things like that. So no one has the right to tell you what to do and not to do in that sense.
Exactly.
You know. And you'll be there, like you said. One day they'll be living with you.
Yep, for sure. It makes me feel good because, like, you know, anytime if I take a lunch break and I go to Publix and get a sub or something, I know my mom's home, so I always call her. Hey, you want a sub? You want this? When I cook breakfast in the morning, Mom, you want some eggs? Because she doesn't really like to eat like that, so I have to stay on her. You know. So when I make eggs, I'll make her an egg, or I'll get her a sandwich and stuff like that. So besides just living with them, it makes me feel good because, like, if she asks me to do something or need something, I'm there. You know what I mean?
You're helping them out.
Yeah, I'm helping them out. And so it's kind of like a win-win situation. But
absolutely.
When I move out, she talks. You know, sometimes she talks her crap and stuff, but
she has to. She's mom.
Yeah. You know? But when I move out, I know she's gonna miss me. And
absolutely.
And
and you're young, dude. It's 25. You're still freaking young, dude. Like, so don't worry about that stuff. You know, like just keep whatever the agreement is between you and your parents is all that matters. For sure. Everybody else can they gotta mind their own business.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, are they doing as well as you were doing? No. Are their parents doing as well as yours are? Yeah. You know, that's the question. So like, what do they care?
Their opinion doesn't matter. Exactly.
So that's just
so what I know. Yeah, that's why I try to tell myself a lot because you know sometimes people can get into your head and stuff, but you just have to know like if you're doing what you have to do to proceed or whatever, that's all that matters. Forget what everybody else says. Like I know what I'm doing is the right thing. So and it's working for me. You know, obviously it's working. Yeah. So just keep doing it, keep going, and people are like, man, you don't ever rest, you don't ever like chill, and I'm like, the only time I'm gonna rest is when I'm dead. That's the only time, you know.
Resting is key to everything, right?
Yeah, for sure.
You have to find your rest, but there are going to be times that are going to be chaotic, and you're not going to be able to rest the way you want to rest. And then when you achieve a certain something or whatever you're seeking, right, then you get to rest a little bit. Exactly. And then you got to pick it back up again. Yep. That's just how it is, right? Life is going to be peaks,
downs. Yep.
Up and down, and every time we go down, we got to learn something to get back up. Exactly. Right. So you just got to.
And another thing I realized is accountability. Take accountability for your actions. You know, like when you know you're slacking, tighten up. You know, when you know you have to tighten up. Like for example, when I know I'm slacking or something like that, I tell myself like, damn, you know, you need to tighten up. You need to do this. You need to do that, and I correct myself. You know what I mean?
But that's the key though. Like we all gonna have the moment, right? Even I do. Like the key is that not to stay there. The key is to like recognize that and talk to yourself and be like, you know, I need to fix this. I need to make my adjustment like now.
Yep.
You know, some people they'll choose to stay there and they don't come out of that, you know, and they just stay there and time just keeps going. And they don't come out of that. They never recognize the fact that, you know, they're messing up. They don't recognize the fact that they don't have their things in line, you know, and then they start messing up.
For sure.
Things start getting really bad, you know.
10 years flies by in the same spot, you know.
So that's why it's so important to like recognize those things and nip it in the bud, you know, and just be like, nah, like, hey, hold on, what am I doing?
What am I doing?
You know, like, and yeah, you got to self-talk to yourself, like a lot of times, you know, in order for you to keep moving forward.
Because it's, you know, that's the thing people don't realize. Like, it's easy to fall off. You know what I mean? Like, it's easy to be like, I don't want to go to work today. That's the easy part. The hard part is, I'm going to work today. I need to get this done. I need to do this, do that. That's the hard part. And a lot of people don't want to face that, and that's why, you know, they get comfortable and stuff like that. But when you have that mindset, man, and you know, it just
people just they need to learn how to embrace the moment. You gotta have a goal, know where you're going, and embrace the journey. Right? They don't want to embrace the journey. They want to get to the goal right away.
Yep.
They don't want to go through the process.
Nope.
And they become very negative about things. They become very pessimistic, a lot of things like that, because they don't want to embrace the journey. And that's life. The journey is the life,
Yep.
right? Because like you can overcome challenges, and then you get rewarded at some point,
Yeah.
right? That's how you're achieving your goal. So, but a lot of people don't want to embrace that, so they don't embrace the moment, and they attack the moment from a negative angle, right? Instead of like looking at it from a more positive perspective, and be like, oh, you know what, like, hey, I'm not thinking about like, oh, I got to do this. Oh man, this sucks. No, they're just like, hey, this is what I got to do, and I'm gonna do it. That's it.
Yep. Another thing is my dad. He would tell me because when I see a big truck, since I got into this business stuff, I love trucks and stuff like that. So when I see a big lifted nice truck or something like that, I'm like, dang, that's nice. I want that one day and stuff. And then my dad, he told me, like, instead of you like looking at other people's things, he's like, just remember that there's always somebody who's looking at your things. They're seeing the loving family you have. They're seeing, business you built. They're seeing the relationship you have with your girlfriend. And a lot of people want stuff like that. But sometimes, you forget, and you have to sit there and be like, man, I have this, I have that. I came a long way. I'm blessed. Stuff like that. You can't let things discourage you.
Yeah, there's a song out there by J. Cole, right? It says, you got what I want, but I have what you need.
Okay.
You see?
Yeah.
You can want material stuff,
yeah,
but what you need is essence,
exactly.
peace of mind,
Yep.
that positive relationships that you have, true friendships.
Damn,
that
that's true.
You can't buy those things.
No, you can't.
And when people are jealous of you,
Yeah.
they're not jealous of your truck.
Yeah.
Because anyone can have a truck. They're not jealous of your watch.
Yeah.
They're jealous of your essence,
Relationships.
your smile,
Yeah.
the fact that you look at things from a positive perspective.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they envy.
The way you carry yourself.
Like, yeah. Like, they can go get they probably got more than you.
Exactly. Yeah.
But the way you conduct yourself, because you got good, solid relationships with people, no one's trying to take advantage of you and things like that. They don't have those things.
Yep.
And they envy those
It
things.
creates jealousy.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah.
Dude, thank you for coming out.
Yes, sir.
I know you got to go to the gym now.
Yep.
I'm going to go take a nap while you guys go to the gym. And, but hopefully we'll have you around again, man.
Yeah, for sure.
All right? Appreciate you,
Appreciate
man.
you for having me.
Thank you, man.
Yes, sir.
Subscribe and like our page will put you in the game. The Beanbags Talk. The Beanbags Talk. The Beanbags Talk. The Beanbags. We got interviews. We got interviews, different perspectives.